about how to use Fibonacci in a downtrend. And let me come with this again for those of you who may have missed out before, right? Now, this is an illustration of a downtrend. Let me clear it and then, give it to us again. So now, a downtrend is a what? Starts from a high, creates a low, creates a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and a what? A lower low, right? Good. So now, like I said, how do you draw your Fibonacci? You start from the recent swing high to the recent swing low. So now these are our recent swing high because it's the recent one that price created here, right? This is recent lower high, recent lower low, right? Because price has not come and create a new lower low to go and create a new lower high to go down and create a new lower low. Now, this will be our recent or recent swing high, a recent or recent swing low. So now, right, we're expecting, we are as traders, what we come to do, we're just trying to predict what will happen next. Now, that's what our Fibonacci 2 comes in. Now, our Fibonacci 2 has to be used to like figure out how to identify, you know, our resistance. Downtrend. If you're just coming in, kindly mute yourself, please. I don't have much strength to talk today. Thank you very much. So, yeah, identify your recent swing high and your recent swing low. So now, let me, don't know why this thing is going like this. Okay, cool. Why is it called a recent swing high? To first be precise, because normal downtrend moves like this, right? Right. This low, high, low, low, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. Now, price has not come to do this yet. Come to create this or this lower high, right? Before he then what creates a new lower low. It has not done that yet. So this will be the recent or this will be the recent lower high, right? To the recent lower low. Right. So now we call it recent swing high. This will be our recent swing high. This will be our recent swing low. So you can also see recent lower high from a recent lower high to a recent lower low. That's where you now identify a recent swing as recent swing low. Now, step two is what? Step two, right? Step two, at your recent swing high, pull out your fib tool, and drag the cursor to the recent swing low, right? That's what's gonna be. At your recent swing high, which is this swing high, this recent lower high right here. Let me illustrate. This is our lower high. And this is our lower low. Now, at a recent swing high, which is this, what do you then do? You pull out your fib tool like this. You start from the up and then you drag it down, right? Now to your recent swing low. Now your recent swing low is going to be this lower low right here. So now, how do you find your resistance level? How do you find where price will come and start to form the new lower high? That's where your Fibonacci comes in. Now, the levels we are going to use are mostly our 0.618 and our 0.786. This level right here. In the previous video, I showed the settings of I showed the way you're going to first go and look for how to get the tool, the settings to use, and I'll now show you how to start using them. So now we are trying to look for where our resistance level is. Now we know that this is a downtrend movement, right? This is a downtrend movement, right? And in the downtrend, what do we look to do? We look to sell. Where do we sell at? We sell at resistance, right? Now, where's our resistance level found at? Our resistance level is found at our lower highs. Meaning that now price wants to come and create a new lower high, right? Now, where we probably find our resistance level at either this 0.618 or 0.786. And once price comes to this level, now that's where you can say, okay, price has found resistance level and then drops back before it goes to the initial direction. So there are times where price may not use this 0.618 to go back down, and it may buy, like it may buy higher and then start to sell from this 0.786 before it goes back in this initial direction, right? So now that's how to use the Fibonacci tool in a downtrend. So now the third step should be you identify, that's number 3. Forgot to type that out, but I believe you get the logic. You identify your levels, which is your 0.618 and 0.786 levels where price may come back to find resistance, right? Price may come, identify a level where price may come back to find resistance, because we are looking for resistance levels. So now this Fibonacci tool, like it says here, Fibonacci retracement is a technical analysis to help traders predict price levels and potential support and resistance levels. Now, what level are we looking for in a downtrend? We're looking for a resistance level. Now, this 0.18, 0.78 can serve as our future resistance levels. Now, I'll show you a diagram illustration. Now, these steps, you know what to do the needful. Screenshot it or take notes so that you can have an idea of how to use Fibonacci, right? So now let's look at the downtrend illustration together. Now let's look at this move currently. Look at this current move from this point like this. You can see that price is in a what? Price is in a downtrend, right? Now this downtrend, first of all, like I said, whenever you come to the market, look for your market trend, right? Market trend, right? Market trend equals to what we're currently seeing, our down trend. Now that's the first thing. Our downtrend consists of what? Our high, our low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower, lower low. Right? Now that's our first thing, our market trend. What do you then do? Next thing which you do, you draw your trend line. Now, how do you draw our trend line here? Draw it above price, right? You connect 2 points together and then you do what? You put your trend line. Now, first point, first touch, second touch, and then do what? Extend it to the future. Consider now that price is at that trend line, right? Now, you've drawn your trend line. Now, you have to have an idea of what levels. Now, in our downtrend, what level are we supposed to look for? We're supposed to look for our resistance level. We already talked about support and resistance, but in a downtrend, we're supposed to look for what? Resistance level. So now, resistance level we're looking for, right? So now, how do we find our support, our resistance level rather, in a downtrend? We know that, okay, like it says here, first of all, identify your recent swing high and recent swing low in a downtrend. This is our what? This is our high, our low, our lower high, you know, our lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, sorry, a lower high, okay, lower high, and then lower low. Now you can see that price has come from this lower high now. It wants to form from this lower low now, it wants to form a new what? A lower high, right? Now, first thing we do when we want to use our Fibonacci 2, let's say this whole move like this has not happened, right? Let's say it has not happened. Now, we are going to identify this lower high right here as our what? Our recent swing high and our recent swing low. And what next do we do? At our recent swing high, pull out your Fib tool and drag the cursor, supposed to be cursor, not cursor, cursor to the recent swing low. So now this recent swing high to recent swing low. Once you drag the cursor, you can see that price came back to that 0.618 level. You can see now, look at the live example. Now this is a clean trade. Now, see what price did. When price got to this 0.618, is now giving us a candlestick confirmation that it wants to start selling. Can see how many things there. First of all, we know our trend. Our trend is a downtrend, right? We've plotted our trend line. This is our trend line right here, right? Plotted our trend line. Our trend line is there. Now, we are trying to look for our resistance level. That's where our Fibonacci what? Our Fibonacci will come in. Our Fibonacci will come in. Now, we've plotted our Fibonacci accordingly. Consider that our price is creating a new what? A new lower high. So now, this after price has done this. Now, look at it. When price is at this level, 0.618, you can see that the red candlestick have started to form, telling us that sellers are entering the market, right? Okay, this is a very clean trade, right? This is a very clean trade. So now, this is our resistance level. We just use the Fibonacci tool to help us find our resistance level. So now, what are we going to be expected to do from here? Use the short position like this. Our stop loss above, probably like 20 pips. 20 pips stop loss. It's a very clean trade. It's a very clean trade. And then we do what? We expect price to like sell off, right? Cool. Cool. Now, that's it. Now, price is supposed to do what? Sell back down. That's how we use your Fibonacci. And see everything I've been saying so far. See how it's aligning with itself. First is your trend. Second is your trend line, which is this line that was supposed to support the trend. Next is your resistance level, which is okay. We know that okay, in the downtrend, we are supposed to look for our levels, which is our resistance level, which is where we sell from, right? Now, how you're supposed to use our Fibonacci tool to do what? Find those potential points in price where price could come and find a resistance level. Now, that showed us after using our Fibonacci from recent swing high to recent swing low. Consider price is at the 0.618. Now, it's starting to look to sell from there. Now, we use our Fibonacci. We cancel this. We use our Fibonacci to find our resistance level, right? Now, next thing you're supposed to know is what type of candlestick is forming at that level. Now, look at this red and green candle, that red and green thing that's showing here. They are called candlesticks. So now, what will help you to understand how to identify these things is when you go and read the candlestick Bible. Now, this is going to be our next topic. This is what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be dealing with candlestick in our next class. That's the I think second to the last thing you need to know in the strategy, right? It's candlestick. So now, if you have an idea of the candlestick that's forming here, but have as well taken this trade by yourself, you understand. So now that's it. That's it. And let me show you another example of how to use what's it called? The Fibonacci tool in a downtrend. Let me look for a clean chart. Right? Let me look for a clean chart. Let me go on the 4 hours time frame. I believe we all know how to use Fibonacci in an uptrend. Let me look for a previous down and move that happened. Everything I'm just saying is okay. Good. This is a downtrend, right? This is a downtrend. Now, from this high right here to this low, price was selling, right? So now price created a what? Price created a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, equal highs, and like that. But let's just use this. Let's use from here to here as our downtrend, right? This point here to this point here is our downtrend, right? So now, first thing you have to know when you come to the market, what trend are you seeing currently? What's the current trend that's happening? A downtrend, right? Now, the downtrend is a creation of lower highs and lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower, lower low, lower, lower low, right? Cool. So now what the next thing you do? You bring out your trend line. How do you do a trend line? You connect two highs together and extend it, two highs together and extend it in the future, right? Now, before all of this one, all this move here, like this, before it happened, we would say that this is our what? This is our high, right? This is our low. This is our uh lower high, and this is our what? This is our lower low. So now, how do we use your Fibonacci? First, identify the recent, let's say this is the recent one, the recent lower high, right here, the recent lower high, right? And the recent what? At the recent lower low. Now, what are we supposed to look for? We're supposed to look for our resistance zone where price will come back to create a new, from this lower high, create a new lower, and from this lower low, create a new lower high before it starts selling off, right? How do you now find those levels? Is your Fibonacci tool. Your Fibonacci tool now come into place. Now, how do you draw it? First, identify a recent lower high and lower low, or swing high or swing low, any English you want to use. Then you, for at your recent swing high, you draw it to your recent swing low, and then you wait for price to come back to one of these prices, 0.618, 0.786. You can see that once when price got to 0.618, it did what? It sold off, right? It sold off massively, right? Now, our trend line safe. You can see that our trend line safe is there. You can see even when we extend into the future, it just came back there, tested it, sold. Now, our resistance level is there. Now, I believe that we talked about support to resistance. Now look at this zone here, this support zone that was previously here. This support zone was previously here. Price did what? Price broke away from it like this, came back to retest it. Now turning this support zone to resistance. Now our support to resistance is there. This was our previous support level. This is our resistance level. Right now, this support level was broken and now turned to resistance. Now, what can we find? Our Fibonacci level is also there. Now, let me show you another illustration again. Now, let's say this, now price has created a what? Price has created a lower high, right? It's created a lower high. Now, it created a what? A lower low, right? After selling off. So now, if we extend our trend line from this point, extend it. Let's say all this move here. All this move here has not happened, right? And we are expecting that okay, price comes back from this lower lower, comes back to somewhere to come and find a point like sell from, right? That's when your Fibonacci comes into. So if this would be a recent lower high, recent lower low, right? You can see that is almost at the same area that price came to. It's almost there. That price came to come and find what? Find resistance. So sell off. And so then when price got there, it sold off, right? Now we can also see this support level, this previous support level turning to resistance. I'm sure I talked about support to resistance. Now this support level, price broke it. Now came back to use it for resistance. Now that's how to use a Fibonacci chart. We're also going to like deal more about all of this later on. Now, so what I did not say at the beginning of the video, let me say it now before we get cut short. So now, what we call the tool you're currently, there are two types of Fibonacci. Two types of Fibonacci. Number one, we have the Fibonacci retracement, and that's the one we are using. the Fibonacci retracement, and we have the number 2, we have the Fibonacci extension. Right now, the Fibonacci retracement is used to find where price will come and look for support and resistance level, which is this 0.618 and 0.78. Now, our Fibonacci extension is where price could probably come and find, like, what's it called? Take profit level. But I don't use that because we have to learn to take profit by ourselves. We cannot expect that, okay, price will not predict. No, price cannot keep going your way. So this is what our concern is going to be. That's why I only talked about this. This is what we just dealt with today, right? So what's going to happen is that in our next class, I'm going to do a revision about number 1, the market trend. Number 2, how to draw your trend line properly, then break and retest. How to identify break and retest of a trend line. Number 2, I'm going to talk about support and resistance again. For those of you who might not be understanding, what has been going on so far, then Fibonacci, we are going to be doing a put together of everything, right? Before we move into our next topic, which is what? Which is candlestick. So make sure you be there. Now, is there anything you guys would like to ask me tonight?